Hello everyone, my name is Ezra the Injured, and today I'm asking a very important question that I want to answer. Do my fave books pass the Bechdel test? By fave, I mean favorite, of course. You may be thinking, Ezra the Injured, what is the Bechdel test? The Bechdel test is a set of criteria that can be applied to media, looking at film, TV shows, like things that are on a screen, but I'm applying it to books because I'm fun. So the Bechdel test has 3 different things that must be met. You must feature at least 2 named female characters who talk to each other about something other than a man. That's it. If it meets those 3 things, it passes the Bechdel test. Let's see, do my favorite books pass the Bechdel test? Now, you're probably wondering, well, what are your favorite books? I'll show you. The first of my favorites is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. Something very special about this copy that I want to show you. It's a signed copy. Our next book is The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. I have an entire bookshelf full of copies of The Hobbit, but I picked this one because this is the first one. I stole it from my dad as a kid. The next one is a much newer copy. We have Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. Then I have Clockwork Princess by Cassandra Clare. It's the 3rd book in the Infernal Devices series, which I do think is maybe my favorite series of all time. And then our 5th and final book is Paper Towns by John Green. It's just so good. The lines that are in here are just insane. John Green is a genius, and I want to read all of his books. I have so many, and I just haven't read them yet, and I'm sorry, John Green, if you're watching this. My apologies, I'll do better. So to start out, we're doing The Night Circus. This hopefully won't spoil too much. Looking at our first thing, are there 2 named female characters? There are definitely 2. I've included 7 here, I believe. So we have Celia, Isabel, Tsukiko, Poppet, Lainey, Tara, and Madame Padme. So it passes that. So then next, we're looking at chapters where they talk to each other. Because they do talk to each other. A lot of different pairings. We have Celia and Tsukiko, Celia and Madame Padme, Celia and Isabel, Lainey and Madame Padme. No one... Look at the typo. It doesn't exist. Lainey and Celia, and Poppet and Celia. But do they talk to each other about something other than a man? That's what we need to find out. They do. At least 4 of these chapters do. And in one of those chapters, there's 2 different conversations between Lady and Madame Padme and Lainey and Celia. Hold on for one moment while I figure out if it's Madame Padme or Padme. What have I done? Padme. No one look at that typo either. Alright, The Night Circus passes. Now, on to our next book, The Hobbit. Alright, now looking at our first criteria. Are there 2 named female characters? We have Belladonna Took. The Hobbit fails! There's just Belladonna, and she's not even in the story. She just has a name. It's his mom, and he talks about her. There's no way to work around it. The Hobbit does not pass the Bechdel test. Six of Crows. So, are there 2 named female characters? We have at least 3 in this book. We have Inej Gaffa, or Gaffa, I don't know, Nina Zenik, and Helene Van Houten, aka Tante Helene. Do they talk to each other? They do. We have multiple chapters where they do, so it passes that one. Do they talk about something other than a man? They do, in at least these, I believe, 4 chapters. Six of Crows passes! Alright, on to our next one. Now we have Clockwork Princess. So, our first thing, are there 2 named female characters? Yes, there's lots. We have Tessa, Sophie, Cecily, Charlotte, Jessamine, Bridget, Mrs. Black, Tatiana. We have tons of named female characters in this book. Do they talk to each other? A lot. They talk to each other a lot about, just lots of things. However, a lot of it has to do with men somehow. Like, there's only 4 chapters where it's not talking about a man, and all of them are Charlotte, and most of it is Charlotte and Sophie, which makes sense because a big part of Clockwork Princess is like a love triangle that's at the heart of it. They're all like teenagers and stuff, so there's a lot of like romance subplots, and the like main villain is a guy, and a lot of times they're like referencing, like talking about him. Regardless, Clockwork Princess passes. And now our last one. This was the hardest one to determine, and I will get into it. So, Paper Towns. Are there 2 named female characters? There's actually a decent amount of female characters. I don't even think I included all of them, to be honest. We have Margot, Lacey, Becca, Ruthie, Karen, Dr. Holden, Cassie. I definitely didn't include them all because Angela is a character who exists and does things, and I forget. I'm pretty sure that in my brain, Lacey, Becca, Karen, Cassie, and Angela all are like the same 2 or 3 people. Like, I cannot tell you who Karen is. Cassie is mentioned all throughout, and I still don't remember anything about her. Lacey, I know. Becca, I know. And it's obvious that Angela left a lasting impression, considering that she's absent from the list. But they have lots of named female characters anyways, who talk to each other. We have one chapter where Margot and Lacey talk to each other. There's also, like, a scene where, like, Angela and Lacey are at a party, and they talk. Like, one says something based off of what that other person said, but they're in this big party, and they didn't actually, like, I didn't count it. It didn't feel like an actual dialogue. It just kind of felt like a conversation in this bigger group. I didn't feel like it counted. And then Margot also talks with her sister Ruthie on the phone at some point, but we only ever hear Margot's side, so I felt like that didn't count. We have one chapter where Margot and Lacey talk to each other, and it's technically not about a boy in this one section. I don't know. It's a bit iffy. Alright, on to our next slide. Insert mini speech about why you think this novel, failing the Bechdel test, is integral to the book and was done intentionally by John Green to illustrate the self-centeredness of Quentin Jacobson. Well, alright then, past me, I guess I will. Paper Town fails. And here's why I think it fails. Here's why I think that it fails, and it was done intentionally by John Green. Not that I think that John Green purposefully thought, I'm going to not pass the Bechdel test, but why I think the reason that we don't see the named female characters really talking to each other, and especially not about something other than a man, is because we're seeing the world through Quentin's eyes, and Quentin is so in his own head throughout this book. Like, he's basically, for those who haven't read Paper Towns, I'm about to spoil it, so this is your last chance to stop watching and free yourself from the spoilers of this book, because it's really, really good, alright? If you're here now, you've accepted your fate. Paper Towns is about this guy named Quentin Jacobson, who goes by Q, who's looking for this girl named Margot Roth Spiegelman. When I say looking for, that is in multiple ways. He's looking for where her body is, like she's physically kind of run away, disappeared, but also looking for who she is. Like, he's trying to find Margot, and he's really trying to find himself, and he's trying to find who she is, because he has this idea of her, and he's always had this idea of who he thought she was in his head, this idea of a girl that he loved. But because he's so focused on this idea of her and on this version of her and his perception of what he thinks she is, he's really not paying that much attention to what's happening around him. Now, looking at the results of our video, The Night Circus passes, The Hobbit fails, Six of Crows passes, Clockwork Princess passes, and Paper Towns fails, leaving us with 3/5 passed, 2/5 failed, do better Tolkien. So this pile, The Night Circus, Six of Crows, Clockwork Princess, pass. The Hobbit, Paper Towns, fails. There are 2 things that show the differences between those ones, besides the fact that they passed/failed the Bechdel test. So the first one is pretty obvious. The Hobbit and Paper Towns are written by a man. The Night Circus, Six of Crows, Clockwork Princess are written by a woman. But I do think there's another reason why possibly that passes and that doesn't. So the Bechdel test was made for screen. Books are different. There are things that can be shown on screen that can't in books, and vice versa, or depending on the kind of book. So this pile is all following one singular person, so it's all through one singular point of view, whereas this pile follows multiple different characters and has multiple different points of view. The reason why I think that's significant is because in The Night Circus, let's say, for example, the narrator is just following a bunch of different characters. So we're following male characters, we're following female characters. It's a lot easier for 2 female characters to be seen talking, just in general, when one of the people you're following is a female character. Whereas both of these, the main characters are men. And this one especially is very much following the thoughts of Q and following his own personal experiences. So it's a little bit trickier unless if he's observing 2 women talking, which, as we've established, Quentin did not observe anything about anyone ever except his own thoughts and just anything connected to him. I do like him, but he was very much in his feels this whole book. With The Hobbit, the difference between that and this is that there's just no women. I don't think that it's Bilbo's fault that there's no female characters. I think that this is Tolkien's fault. This book fails because of Tolkien, and I think this book fails because of Quentin. Obviously, John Green wrote this book, but I don't think that this fails because John Green was too oblivious to the fact that there were no female characters talking. I think this fails because John Green was telling a story through Quentin's eyes, and Quentin was not putting value on those conversations because they weren't relating to his internal core story. And that's my speech. I think that The Hobbit failed because of Tolkien, and I think that Paper Towns fails because of Quentin. And then those three passed because there were lots of perspectives and also lots of female characters. It's really, really hard to pass a test where the first part is having female characters if you only have one. How did you get here? Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, you can like it in the liking thing. Comment your favorite books below because I'm always looking for more book recommendations, and I don't own enough books. Definitely not. My name is Ezra the Injured, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye!